Susan Tehrani is joining us live from the United Nations headquarters. Susan, give us a sense of what's happening at the United Nations headquarters there. We're given to understand that there is a UNSC meeting that has been convened at the behest of the Iranians in the aftermath of the Israeli Operation Rising Lion.
Right. Currently, behind me is the United Nations Security Council, and this meeting, as you mentioned, is taking place. It's an emergency meeting requested by Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi shortly after Israeli strikes against Iran. Israel is in the meeting. Israel and Iran are both expected to speak. We heard from Rafal Grossi, the IAEA chief. He said that he's in contact with his colleagues inside Iran, and he's working with the United Nations to make sure that nuclear installations are not leaking, radiation levels are at the right level after those reported strikes against Natanz and other nuclear facilities in Iran. He said that ultimately there needs to be transparency regarding Iran's nuclear program. And then we heard one after the other council members are starting to speak. We did hear from the Russians, and not surprisingly, the Russians were very critical of Israeli actions with these strikes. We'll have to wait and see how Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, is going to respond. He is expected to speak to the council and tell them that the world should be on their side because it was Israel that launched this attack, this preemptive attack, and is saving the world against the nuclear Iran. Of course, we saw Iran's representative also walking into the meeting. He is expected to speak. Of course, this meeting is at the behest of the Iranian government. I do want to note that we're just hearing a few minutes ago, and I'm sure that you reported on it, that the United States is now helping Israel in its retaliatory efforts in intercepting missiles that are flying over Israel from Iran.
Absolutely, indeed. And also at this moment, Susan, considering that this is a meeting that has been called at the behest of the Iranians, what is the objective of this UNSC meeting at this moment that is currently unfolding at a time when the Iranians have hit back at the Israelis as part of their reprisal?
Yeah, well, this is part of a threat to international peace and security, the meeting the Council generally has, but Iran believes that Israel violated UN laws and regulations, international laws and regulations of sovereignty and territorial integrity, and wanted to conduct this meeting. These are open consultations first. After these consultations, there's going to be closed consultations. There isn't going to be a resolution or anything like that expected. But as you can imagine, both Iran and Israel are hoping that they will get the support they need from the international community moving forward on how to deal with one another.
And also, has there been an Israeli reaction to the fact that there is this UNSC meeting that has been convened at the behest of the Iranians? And what have the Israelis said about the fact that this is an issue that is being discussed at the UNSC?
Yeah, Israel's ambassador to the UN, Danny Danon, is expected to address the council as well. As I mentioned, he's been very vocal. He said that these were preemptive strikes, that the Israelis had intelligence that Iran was very close to obtaining a nuclear weapon and being a threat not only to Israel, but regional countries. And this was a threat to the balance of power in the Middle East, and that Israel took these strikes. The Israeli ambassador to the U.S., also it's important to note, said that these are targeted strikes that were carried out against nuclear facilities, and they are not going to stop until not only places like Natanz are completely eliminated and are not a threat, but also a lot of Iran's missile capabilities as well. These were also echoed by the Israeli ambassador to the UN here earlier. But for this meeting, Israel is very adamant to make clear that its attack against Iran was justified. And I think we're going to hear that from Danny Danon talking to council members.